we are with the rebuild of one cell in the battery pack, as upon shipment the shipping companies had the battery packs stored probably in a warehouse for 2 periods of 8 and 7 days, where the temperature was below -30, and we believe that one of the cells ruptured, or at least was knocked out of commission, and we've had to order a new cell. So because we're working with a high voltage 48 volt system at this point, I'm going to put on some protective gloves as we look at dismantling at least half of the cell pack in order to insert the new one. So I'm going to disconnect here. We want to reduce the overall voltage, and this connects it up to make it 48, and disconnect the cable that put the 2 banks into series. And I think I shall wrap that. If it slips, then it won't short circuit any other cell. Safety is an important factor when dealing with any electrical system, particularly over 24 or 36 volts. And the next one will be other end of that bank that is in series. And of course I took photographs of everything, as well as labeling, to ensure that when it comes time to reassemble, I will have all the components there in the right order. We still have these batteries connected in series, but before disconnecting, I want to make sure that our rods that go through the battery system, holding it all together, that I'll be able to loosen those and pull them out so that the plastic battery holding mechanisms can lift out of the box. So that will be the next challenge. Very well designed battery pack in terms of security, of holding our components. And of course, with these, he has put on spring-loaded washers to keep the bolts and nuts from unloosening should we going to be encountering some vibrations in running powerboat, although it will be vastly reduced with the use of the electric motor. So here I have discovered a little dilemma to take these rods out, I'm going to have to loosen that nut, and then be able to pull the rods from this end, pull it out, and pull it out, so that we'll disengage the plastic holding units. I'm thinking I'm going to take some red tape, electric tape, cut it in half, and wrap one half around that around that nut with a long string, so that when I pull the rod out, that nut doesn't drop down the bottom, because it'll be very hard to get out. Similarly with this one. So we'll see how that's going to work. Now, to wrap it around the bolt, what I'm contemplating is using a bit of more rigid wiring to loop underneath. Let's wait and see. So, here's my thinking that I can take this tape that I've wrapped around a piece of electric coated wire, and that I can fish this through. There we go. Proof of concept. I'll then be able to strip away the wire from the tape and then snag onto the nut so I don't lose it when we pull the bolts out. And we'll do a similar event over here. Just to show you, this will be how I loop around the nut, and when it's ready to come off, I can snaggle it with the red tape. Oh, 7/16 is going to do this. Still contemplating how to best remove these rods that run all the way through. It's going to be both top and bottom. Need to come out so that I will be able to lift out the front two cells and replace the bad one, which is this one. Now, Scott, my manufacturer, has suggested that if I take the nut off here and hook up the chuck of the drill, that I should be able to back out these bolts, as that's the way they went in, and this nut, perhaps save it by just the use of a pair of pliers, needle nose, but I'm also still contemplating using my tape method. The other thing I've done is I've put a piece of 3/4 inch piece of wood underneath the bolts of the bottom to lift up the unit, and I did the same on the back, hopefully reducing the amount of weight that's on the top bolts. And depending how that works, when it comes to do the bottom two, I may put it up on its side and again try to reduce the weight. So that is the plan. Let's experiment and see how it's going to work. So I'm going to give this a go. Seems to be working quite well. I got the nut, so that's a good thing. other works. Let's see if I can tap the bolt so that the nut will stay on. Yes, and it's working. There we go, a little bit of surgery. And we have the top ones. We have successfully started to retract the top bolts. And now I'm going to try to work the bottom and follow the same principle. And hopefully we only have to pull them back to free these two units, and then I can pull them out and then replace the bad cell. All right, I'll be right up.